All right. Welcome back. It is week 10 of the NFL season. Picks are coming a little late because, again, COVID with all these games up in the air. There still might be some games canceled. The Browns game might get canceled. But we're going to do the best we can, and hopefully all these picks end up being games that end up being played. But last week, me and Malcolm both did pretty well, 3-2. Malcolm hit his lock and his upset. So you're back on the scoreboard, baby, trending in the right direction. And our boy Lewis, if you notice, we don't have a guest this week because our boy Lewis, he went 0 for 5. He got every single pick wrong. So we were going to have someone on today who ended up canceling. And instead, I texted him, "Hey, do you want to redeem yourself this week?" And he said that he's going 5-0 this week. So he sent me over some picks.
Been there.
But he's the first to go 0-5. We had our first 0-5 week. I had a 5-0 week earlier in the year. So I guess all we're missing is somebody to. I guess we've had everything else: 4-1, 1-4, 2-3, 3-2. So as standings right now, I'm 27-18. Malcolm is 22-23, so he's almost back to 500. And with that 0-5 week, our guests went to 23-22. So Malcolm, you're still in third, but you're right behind. You actually have more points than the tiebreaker for your upsets and locks than the guests. So let's start off with this. First of all, if you notice, I'm wearing this beautiful, beautiful Tom Brady jersey. It finally came in the mail. I ordered it in fucking April. It only took 7 months, but it's here, baby. It's here. So this is gonna bring me some good luck. Because of COVID, exactly. If you listen to our other episodes, you're familiar with what we're talking about. But let's start with this. We'll start with the guest pick. So his 3 picks. Our boy Lewis has the Panthers plus 6.5 against the Bucks. He has the Steelers minus 6.5 against the Bengals after their Steelers had a weak performance last week against the Cowboys, but we'll see. And the Bears 3.5 on Monday night against the Vikings. Malcolm, who do you have for your 3 picks this week?
I have the Browns minus 4.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on in the league with COVID, so I'm shooting kind of blind.
Yeah, that's going to be that's one of the games to watch. They had a few guys that popped up on the COVID list. But that game looks like, as of right now, it's going to be played. So, I saw on Twitter this thing that's happening every week. It's like all week long, there's tests popping up every day like crazy. And then on Sunday, it's like no positive tests, all clear to play. Just somehow every Sunday, it just is magically.
I heard about that. They're like, when this first started, you're supposed to get 2 weeks quarantine. These dudes are. Somebody said like Nick Saban tested positive on Wednesday, coaching on Saturday.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Who do you have as your other 2 picks?
All right, I got the Raiders minus 4 against Denver. I know there's a lot of shit going on with COVID, I think, too, with the Raiders. But I think this is the week that Denver completely falls apart.
Yeah.
They're just trashing Drew Lock all over the Denver radio.
It's funny because you seem to hate the Broncos and the Chargers because they always fuck you. And you picked the Raiders to beat the Chargers last week, and you was a nail biter, but you got that one right. So you're going back against it this week.
That game was ridiculous.
I feel so bad for Justin Herbert because he's an absolute baller. He's out there just throwing dimes all over the field, and these dudes like that last he threw back-to-back perfect fades to the end zone, which is a low percentage play. We'll talk. That's a different conversation. But twice in a row, the guy dropped it. And on the one they thought they had the walk-off winner, they're celebrating, and they're like, "Nope, he actually dropped the ball." So.
Tell you what, that guy kind of sold it though. He almost had it. And then they showed that one angle. You're like, that hit the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Who do you have as your 3rd pick?
My 3rd pick, I got the Seahawks plus 2.5 underdogs to the Rams. I feel like in all the big games, the Rams have kind of blew it. But yeah. I mean, I tell you what, I'm going against my rules, but they're all divisional games this week, so I don't know what the fuck to do.
It's a tough week this week. And the 2 games that you would consider like blowouts or whatever, the spread is so high. Like you have the Packers Jaguars, it's 13.5. It's a lot of points, even for the Jaguars. All right, so for my 3 picks, I'm kind of in the similar situation or similar thinking to you and to Lewis here. I like the Browns at minus 4. I just don't think the Texans are very good. I think the Browns defense is pretty good. No. So I like the Browns minus 4. I have the Bills plus 3. So they're the underdogs against the Cardinals. So the Cardinals, they looked pretty good against the Dolphins last week, but the Cardinals defense is terrible, and Josh Allen seems to be getting it back in rhythm. So give me the Bills as the underdog plus 3. And then I have the Steelers, same as Lewis. I have the Steelers minus 6.5 on against the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals are good, but that Steelers defense is brutal. And I think that the Steelers.
Yeah, I know. Division's usually always tight, no matter how the teams are doing.
Yep.
Even the Browns suck.
The Steelers looked bad last week against the Cowboys, so I think that's why that line is a little lower than it would be for a team that's 8-0. The Steelers are 8-0. So I think that even though that line isn't where it should be, and Joe Burrow is pretty good, and Ben Roethlisberger is banged up, I think they win by more than a touchdown. 6.5 feels like easy money there. And then for my upset, I'm with you on the thinking. I like the Seahawks over the Rams. I just think that it's 2.5 point favorite for the Rams, and I think the Rams are a good team. The Seahawks are coming off of a loss, and I think that the Rams, like you said, just don't really show up in those primetime games or in the big games. And next week they play the Bucks on Monday night, so we'll see there too. Who do you have as your upset?
My upset, I got the Bills against the Cardinals. But of course, it's the Cardinals, so
yeah. Who knows?
Happens. But Josh Allen's grandmother died or something, so
Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah, so what? She's still dead.
That magic only carries for 1 week. Lewis actually
her death lasts forever. So
yeah, that's true. Lewis actually has that exact same pick. He has Bills over Cardinals as his upset, and then for his lock, he has the Ravens -7 against the Patriots on Monday night or on Sunday night. Excuse me. So. You both have Bills over Cardinals. He has his lock Ravens -6 or -7 against the Patriots. Who do you have as your lock?
My lock is the Bucks versus the Panthers. I just don't see Brady coming out and throwing a dud after getting shellacked.
And that is also my lock. So we both have very similar picks for everybody this week. I think we're all seeing the board the same way, but that is also my lock. Bucks -6.
I remember last time we all had the same picks. The underdogs went 8 for 12.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we have a few underdog picks in there sprinkled in, but I agree with you.
I'll give you an extra though. Just I'm going to say the Patriots keep it close and possibly pull out the Ravens.
I think that game is going to be close. I agree. I think that game is going to be close. I think that the Patriots defense is starting to figure some stuff out, and I'm not super impressed with the Ravens, but I think the Ravens still win.
If I remember correctly, the last time the Patriots played the Ravens, I think Brady was there and they got fucking whooped.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I know the Ravens won. So I know that's probably still sour grapes for Belichick.
Yep. And going back to our locks there, the Bucks -6.5. The luck of the Brady jersey, baby. That's all it is. And I just don't. After that embarrassing loss on Sunday night, I just don't see them putting up an egg this week. I think
one thing that stood out to me in that game on Sunday night is the linebackers look like high school linebackers, dude. They couldn't get to the edge to save their life.
So this is what it is, though. It was bad coaching. The Todd Bowles, the defense coordinator for the Bucks. He's a lot like, I've talked with friends about this before. He's a lot like the defense coordinator for the Gators, where if it doesn't work in the first quarter, there's no adjustments. It's just it doesn't work. Like, we're screwed. You know what I mean? He just doesn't know how to. Todd Bowles just doesn't really fix shit on the fly. He comes out with a game plan, and if it doesn't work, then it's going to be a long day. Yeah, you're wrong about the linebackers, though. Devin White and Levante David are going to both be all-pro linebackers. They're both fantastic. Just a bad game.
But they're just getting beat on that edge, dude.
Well, not only, I mean, it didn't help that the offense went 3 and out the first 4 drives. You know what I mean? The defense was on the field the entire first half. It was over in the first quarter. But sometimes that happens. And luckily, it's not college football where a big loss like that, your season's over. You know, it's just one game. You move on to next week. I think the Bucks are going to be fine. A lot of people have been overreacting. Ugly game for sure, though. And the question mark, I don't really so much have a question mark with Brady. My question mark is with Bruce Arians, because I feel like
I didn't like that
coach. He got outcoached by Sean.
I didn't like the shit after the game.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Why is he making it a fucking circus? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that to me is the only red flag I see.
No, they were open. It was just bad pass. Like, yeah. Well, I'm sure the guy who has 6 rings sees it differently.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't super impressed with Antonio Brown. I know it was his first week, but I mean, there was nothing really eye-opening. I think he'll be fine as he gets more comfortable with the offense. They need to get Mike Evans the ball more, though, man. He's a premier wide receiver. The dude can get up there. That's the thing. Brady is very like timing route, throwing to guys that are breaking into open spots. And Mike Evans is the kind of receiver you just throw it up there, he'll get it. You know what I mean? So I think Brady needs that trust with him a little bit more, that he's throwing into coverage, that Evans will go up.
They're also doubling the shit out of him, bracketing him, and he just looked smothered last week.
He just looked like like almost just worn out. Like every single play, he's just getting, the guys are super physical with him because he's so big.
And Brady was just, I mean, that offensive line got torn up last week.
Well, we were missing an all-pro guard, Ali Marpet, but at the same time, that's not the problem. Missing one guy is big, but not that big. You know what I mean? He had, nothing was, clicking on offense. But I think they get back in the win column this week. So just to go over, Lewis has Panthers plus 6.5, Steelers minus 6.5, Bears plus 3.5, Bills over Cardinals, Ravens minus 7 on Sunday night. Malcolm has Browns minus 4, Raiders minus 4, Seahawks plus 2.5, Bills over Cardinals is the upset, Bucks minus 6.5 is his lock. I have Browns minus 4, Bills plus 3, Steelers minus 6.5, Seahawks over Rams is my upset, and Bucks minus 6.5 is the lock. So thank you for everybody for tuning in. Sorry it was a little bit late this week. We'll try to get it back out on Thursdays and Fridays once we get a clearer picture of what's going on. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @scam_podcast. Follow us on Twitch, @scam_podcast. And if you're listening to the show, watch the show on YouTube. 2 words, Scam Podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everybody for the love and support. Malcolm, anything else before we get out here?
I got nothing.
All right, we'll see you guys Monday night, Tuesday night, something like that. We'll see you soon.
See you.